We don't tell each other enough we're good to each other. We tend to focus on what we're not doing right, or we argue and name call each other and stuff like that, instead of saying like, I like you. I think what you do is interesting. I care about you. I want you in my life. You're important to me.
That was Dr. Darian Parker joining us today. We talk a lot about life as a personal trainer. He and I have both been doing personal training for a while. Myself, 16 years. I think he's been at it for 20, he said. And just about what goes into all that, how we stay accountable to ourselves, and how we make sure that we do our own workouts. A lot of things, as you just heard, some great insight. Very cool episode today with Darian Parker.
It's the Health in the Real World podcast. It's time to start the show with Chris Janke as your host. Here to give you everything that you need when it comes to fitness strategies. We keep it simple and easy. It's your roadmap to get healthy. You don't need equipment and you don't need a gym. Just the right strategies to get you fit and trim.
Health in the Real World podcast brought to you today by Naked Fitness. It's my book. It's available at Amazon.com. How to get a great workout with no equipment, especially now in the days of COVID. I don't know about you, but we're still not back in the gyms here in Bay Area, California. It's messed up, but it is what it is. Naked Fitness, available at Amazon.com. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Darian Parker. So I saw you have a couple things going on. You have you're a trainer, and it looks like you also sort of consult, or what is that?
Yeah, Epic Leisure Management. So I co-own it with a business partner of mine.
Yeah.
And we essentially do everything from the concept, design, space program, financial feasibility, pre-opening, everything through the actual turnkey management of the actual facility. So it's mainly luxury amenities and hotels, private residential communities, corporate campuses. And then I've been a trainer for close to 20.
Yeah, I've been a trainer, I guess, about 16 years. 2004 I started.
You're still here, Chris. You're
still here. That's what I heard this somewhere, that I don't know how accurate this statistic is, but that the average personal trainer's career is less than a year.
That's true. I've read that too. Yeah.
That's nuts to me. So for everyone, every guy like you or me who exists, there's 100 trainers who came and went and came and went.
Why do you think that is, Chris?
I mean, I haven't worked at a commercial gym very long. I worked for probably about 2 years. It was a little bit like a car salesman, right? Walk up to a random person and convince them that they don't know what they're doing.
You need to work with me.
Yeah, you have no idea how to use this machine. But yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get in that way, and through commercial gyms.
Yeah.
And I got in through corporate gyms initially, and then right into the luxury fitness environment. So I skipped that whole commercial environment.
The used car salesman.
Yeah, I didn't want any part of that, man. I was like, no, there's got to be other things to do.
Yeah. It was hard to make it at first, right? I remember I remember living I was living with two high school buddies. This was after college though. So the three of us were living in a 2-bedroom apartment, and I couldn't afford a car at the time. And my work was 3 miles away from the apartment. And, personal training hours are 6 a.m, right? So I remember, I live in San Jose, California. It doesn't get super cold, but, it gets down to mid to high 30s in the wintertime. And I just remember how terrible that was, leaving the house at 5 a.m. and taking the 3-mile, 40 degree bike ride to work for 3 hours and then go back home because I didn't have enough clients to work past 9 a.m. But
I had always had kind of my own side personal training business while running luxury gyms and training within that. And then a couple of years ago, I decided go out on my own, just have my own training business full time, and then do the consulting management full time as well. So first time ever being not attached to some sort of environment,
right?
That I work for. And I really like it because I just do whatever I want. When I want, I could train a client and I go watch Netflix, hang out, I just do whatever. I go shoot some hoops and stuff in between. Pretty cool.
what types of clients do you typically see? Do you see a lot of beginners, or are you training athletes or older people, or?
I would say generally mid-20s to mid-50s, kind of around that. Because I have a background in luxury clientele for so long, I tend to get that type of client who is already into fitness quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I don't have to convince them that it's important. They don't want to think about it. They just want somebody to, have companionship with and tell them what to do with it. So that actually makes it easy, but in the same sense, it's, I don't want this to sound weird, but it's so consistent. It's like sometimes I need a break from it. I'm like, I mean, you're so into it, but I am too, but sometimes I just don't want to do it.
Right.
So, and I think sometimes as a trainer, you're always on this cycle trying to push, get clients. And I'm at the point being in so long that I've established a very long-term play with it that I'm kind of like, I don't want to do this too much. It's a good situation to be in, but it's not burning yourself out, and I like that statistic of under a year. That's definitely a real thing, but there's also not a lot of 50-plus-year-old trainers beyond that. I mean, I'm 42, been doing it a while, but I don't see a lot of people around me that are my age doing it. So it's like dwindles out because I think some people, they just get tired of working with people over time. But I like that. I enjoy working with people. I just like to pick my spots here and there,
Sure. Yeah, I love it. I think it's funny. I had an intern a couple years ago at my business, and he was asking me after a couple of days, he said, "Don't you get tired of saying the same thing over and over and over again?" And I said, "I can see how you would think that, but I actually don't. I actually enjoy the, you have your product, whatever it is, and your own kind of secret sauce, so to speak. And then delivering it to different people in different ways to get them to really hear it, I think is really exciting. And I get what you mean about how you have a very long-term clientele, right? And it's like you said, they're probably pretty well off. They can afford the training, and they're probably super busy. And they're like, look, I know this is absolutely vital. This is like one of the most important things in my life. However, I don't want to be going online every day and researching what the best workout is. So I'm going to offshore that to you. You handle all my fitness stuff, and I'm just going to show up at the time, and you tell me what to do, and we'll become friends in the process, right?
Totally.
Like that, right?
That's literally my business for the last 20 years.
That's
and
fantastic.
So you're like growing with these people. Like, I think my longest guy is 13 and a half years going on now. And it's just like we're like buddies, and like his final kid went to college like last week. And I remember when this child was 6, and we're talking now, we're in fantasy football leagues together. We're doing all this stuff. And I'm like, when are we going to get tired of each other? And I think sometimes he cancels on me just because we're around each other all the time. Like, I need a break from you like this week, whatever. And then we'll kick it off real hard for a really long time. It's like, I'm taking a week off. It's like, you just like need that space because you're just around them all the time over many years.
Does it ever happen with your clients? And I'm sure it happens many times, but where they just either, maybe they don't completely fall off the wagon, but they lose that motivation, that drive. I mean, more than just like what you just said about not necessarily wanting to hang out together because you've seen each other, 3 days a week for the last 15 years, but like where they're just like, look, I just don't want to work out. I'm losing my motivation to eat properly. Any of that ever happened with you?
No, I've never experienced that. It's just more of like they're just some like, I need a day off from you today type of thing, It's nothing major, or it's like they'll go on vacation for 3 weeks and they're like, well, should we work out during that time? In my mind, I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this. And they think the same thing, and it doesn't change. Or it's just like, you're with somebody for a long time. You need your personal time. You need your own time, and I don't want to have a bad performance. I want to bring like a garbage service, because I think what we do, what I think sometimes people don't recognize when you're doing a job in an office, and let's say you could close your door or whatever, you don't have to see other people. You can kind of like have a D-level day.
Yes.
As long as you're typing in stuff.
Right.
As a trainer, you can't have that level of day. Like you have to be like on. It's a performance. You can't be a comedian and have a trash show.
Right.
You have to have your best show every time you go out. And I feel like that's what we do. We have to have the same level of performance, high level every time. And that's tiring sometimes.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. It's almost like that. It becomes an all or nothing, right? You can't,
Yes.
like you said, you can't just like show up and just punch the time card and come in. It's like, you gotta blast it. And that's good. That's valuable that you see that like, I can't come in full force. I need to completely take a break from you for a couple of days.
Yeah, I definitely. And then sometimes like if a client wants to schedule and I have like a gap of an hour, I don't like that. I'm like, I just want to stack people on top of each other because I get a rhythm. It's efficiency, but also I get in the groove, and I don't want to stop and start a bunch. I just don't like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm the same way. I think that's the sign of a trainer that's been doing it for a while. Cause I feel the same way. But when I first started, I didn't feel that way. I'd train, I'd go 1 hour and I would be wrecked. I'm like, I'm so tired right now. I like the mental just fatigue.
Yeah.
I need a break. But now it's like, give me 8 in a row. I'm happy.
Let's just get it done.
I'm
Boom.
done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same way.
So what about the kind of, I suffer from this, or I did before COVID, because now I actually do my workouts with my clients. It's fantastic. But sort of the occupational hazard of a personal trainer is you're working on someone else's fitness all day long, and then you sort of like, you forget your own stuff. Or do you struggle with that at all? Or if you do, how do you counteract that? How do you put your own fitness front and center?
I have a great thing about this. It's actually the same guy that I was telling you about, the 13 and a half years. He's my workout partner. So
nice.
I get 2 for 1 on. He's my client, but I always work out with him. And we've established this like 1 month in, all those years ago. And probably like a lot of trainers, you're working out here and there with doing a lot of different stuff.
Right.
I had my own personal thing. I was a collegiate track and field athlete because I was just used to working out a lot, really hard. And I was just doing too much. I was working out way too much, like 15, 16 times a week. This was like long time ago. I was wrecked constantly. And so I would come into the sessions with this guy who would crack me up. And he's like, you're not giving your best. I'm working you. He likes to talk trash to me. Still to this day, always talking trash to me. I was like, you know what I'm going to do, man? I'm going to save all of my energy just for you. I'm going to work out 3 days a week with you and only you. And that's all I've been doing the past 13 years. Is just focusing on annihilating him every 3 days.
That's great. And that's built-in accountability. That's a win,
yes.
Right? He probably likes that even more because he's like, all right, I get to see what the A game looks like.
Yes.
This collegiate athlete, and I get to come with my A game to match him. That's great.
Yeah, we compete. Our whole thing is we compete on every level. So if like, we're hanging out, we're competing. We're playing cornhole, we're going to compete. We're working. It's all competition. And a couple of years ago, I moved away from Las Vegas. This is where we met each other, and so it's all live virtual. 99% of my business is live virtual, and I started that several years ago, not knowing about the pandemic, obviously.
Wow.
So we switched to that, and I don't know if he was going to like it. That we're like basically face to face on a screen. I feel like we ratcheted it up even more when that happened. So now we're texting each other, talking trash. Then we're live working out, talking trash, fantasy football talk. It got even better. It was weird.
That's fantastic. That's great. Because now you're in Washington now, right?
I'm in Washington, right on the border of Canada, about a mile or so from the Canadian border. Western Washington, Blaine. It is about 35 minutes from Vancouver, BC, right over the border. It's amazing. So it's like a outdoor wonderland. It's amazing.
Yeah. Beautiful, like very green up there, and
super green. Glaciers, forests, mountains, water. It's amazing. Yeah.
That's awesome. What made you move from Vegas to up there?
I think I wanted to start this other business, Epic Leisure Management. My business partner has lived here for 18 years or so. And I visited all the time. It's a weird story. He was my supervisor in the previous company we were both in for like 13, 14 years. And he's like, come up for a guys' weekend. So I always come up and we party and hang out and stuff. I was like, this place is incredible. And I just kept coming up. And I was like, I want to move somewhere for lifestyle primarily. just to enjoy it. I don't want to have any business work where I live. I want that to be my personal playground, enjoy it. So that's what we did, moved my wife and I, my daughter, we moved up here, and I really have no business up here, literally. It's just for fun, enjoying my life.
You're on a constant vacation, and your work is elsewhere because
it's elsewhere. It's all elsewhere.
You're calling them or FaceTiming them or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's nice. But yeah, the fitness level, I think, it's been good. Just having the accountability, kind of a workout partner, I think is great. And it just happens to be that I don't think I would have done it with any of my other clients except him, because I like competing and I like the trash talk and all that stuff. And so it just worked out that we're both like really into that.
Yeah.
So it's just pretty funny. Like if he has a bad workout, I like really hit him hard. He'll text me the whole week like, I disrespected myself. I should have performed better. It's pretty funny stuff.
That's great. I think there's a lot of value to that type of workout. I was an athlete as well. I started, playing soccer and baseball as a young kid, and then I started basketball at 9, and then I played a year or two of football in high school, and then I was mostly track and cross country, a lot of running later on. But I think there's something to that. I think it's funny too, because the way that I train my clients, I tend to attract a lot of beginners because I focus on people who have had back pain in the past. So typically it's people who they want to work out, but it hurts them to work out. So a lot of beginners. So I'm very, very gentle and very, kind of stand back. Okay. You go at your own pace, that type of thing. But when I'm working out with friends, it's like that, like, is that all you did? You only did 9. I did 12. What's up? Like, what's that?
It's great.
Yeah, it's good when you have that relationship with somebody and it's all out of love and it's all about making each other better. I think it's really valuable. And I think it does help just growing up as an athlete, because that's sort of the culture of athletics, right? It's like you practice, and during the practice you're like enemies, right? If say you have the green and the yellow basketball team, right? You're wearing the pennies. And you guys are enemies during that practice, but after practice, it's all to get better for the game this Saturday, right? Something like that, right? So I think that's great. What? Oh wow, it's already 12:30.
It's flying by, Chris.
It's flying by. This is great. So I like to end the show with this question, and I like to sort of broaden it outside of the realm of fitness. If let's say a university called you and said, "Hey, Darian, we want you to give the keynote speech at our commencement ceremony." And you can, we know you're a fitness trainer, we know you're a fitness guy, and you can weave fitness into this. But in general, what do you want to tell the graduates as far as big picture success in life, the way that you kind of look at life in a successful mindset, that kind of thing, and roll with that, whatever direction you want to go.
Yeah, I think I would say that, especially at that age, you're very centered on who you are and your goals and what you're doing. And I would say that, that's important, but what's more important is helping other people become more successful, actually, than yourself. And like service to others is an incredibly powerful way to build your own self-esteem. For that, I think we always think, if I do this for myself, I'm going to feel better about myself. But I've always found in my time in the business and my personal relationships that if I helped the other person become better, if I infused good feelings with them, if I told them they're worthy, they're wonderful, it's that their place in my life is extremely important. How can I support and encourage them? It raises my self-esteem. It makes me feel like I can accomplish more because I injected my uniqueness into them and said, what can I do to create a better lifestyle for you for that? And I think just telling people good things, we don't tell each other enough we're good to each other. We tend to focus on what we're not doing right, or we argue and name call each other and stuff like that, instead of saying like, I like you. I think what you do is interesting. I care about you. I want you in my life. You're important to me. I talk to so many people all the time, sure, like you with podcasting and training people, is when you tell somebody something so powerful like that, they almost don't know how to take it because most people aren't used to being told that stuff. So when you tell them that, it's like a lightning bolt. And it's so rare that you will automatically start building tremendous loyalty, compassion for other people. That's why I think I've been successful in the training business, that I've had most of my clients are 10 years beyond, because I think I just like being around them. I like telling them they're important to me. There's one thing I do all the time is I send texts to my clients. I'll call them randomly and like, you know what? I really like you. I really enjoy that you're in my life. I want to know more about your kids, about your spouse. How can I just be a good person in your life? And they're always like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, I just like you. Can I just tell you that? I would tell the graduates, tell that to people. Tell them you like them. They're important to you. They mean something to you. And be open about your feelings. Don't hide it.
Wow, what a great lesson that is. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Wow, I think that's a great way to end the show. Dr. Darian Parker, thank you so much for joining me today. I want to give you a chance to also, if you have a website or way to connect. I know you have a lot of lifer clients, but if anyone wants to work with you who watches this show, how does somebody get a hold of you?
I think the easiest way is either through, I don't have a lot of social media people. I don't have that. I'm too busy, man. I'm working, man. Is through LinkedIn, which is what I primarily use. I like the professional aspects. Easy to find me on there, Darian Parker. And then their email, darianparker@gmail.com. Very simple. For that, I don't think there's a lot of Darians out there. That's why I got that. And then my podcast, honestly, Dr. D's Social Network. You can learn a tremendous amount about who I am as a person just by listening to my podcast, Dr. D's Social Network, on all major podcast outlets, Apple, Google, all that stuff. So
yeah, I'll attest to that too. I listened to a couple episodes and they're very good. They're very good, very interesting. I really like them. Yeah. Great. Well, Darian, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you joining me. And a couple months down the line, if you're open to coming back, I'd love to chat with you again. But
yes, of course. This is awesome. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks for listening to the Health in the Real World show. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Visit mycorebalance.com to learn more.